a published piece of poetry, just make sure that you identify it so that the rest of the audience will know where to credit the work. No props. So John's got his cards in his hands, so I think that would be considered a prop. No costumes. I don't think we have a problem with that tonight. Although we are actors and we love costumes, don't we? Performances are not timed in this, so there is no limit. You can go 1 or 2 lines with your poetry, or you could go a page. Human attention span lasts about 3 minutes, so I caution you not to go too long because you'll probably lose your audience. Right, the average YouTube video is about 3 minutes. Josh Wilson wrote a song titled I think the title was a 3-minute song. He had to write a 3-minute song, get his message in because he knew he would lose his audience past that. No musical instruments. There's a tambourine over here. There's a shaker, but sorry, there's no musical instruments. You'll have to keep, if you're speaking on rhythm, speaking on meter, you'll have to keep that yourself. And each poem should be read only once. Only one more instruction so that we don't want any vulgar language in your poetry, nothing discriminatory or racist. Sounds like we should all know that, but it's a good reminder just to make sure that our work is wholesome, uplifting, as well as entertaining. So we're going to get started here, and we have a list of slammers, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open it up with a poem that I wrote, just so that we're not putting anybody on the spot first. So I have a confession to make. I started writing poetry a year ago, over a year ago, when I started teaching poetry at Selah. I had played with poetry before then, but I never felt adequate enough to really do it. I didn't think that I was that talented of a writer. Through the class, the course of the class, we learned some technique that kind of gave me a little bit more bravery, some exercises that helped get the creativity flowing. So I started to write a little bit, but still I really never took off writing poetry. And the one reason I did not do it is because poetry is personal. When we write poetry, it's like music. We're putting our feelings on paper, whether it's good, whether it's anger, whether it's sadness, whether it's happiness, whether it's humor. We're sharing a little bit of ourselves, and I was afraid to show that person to people, and so I was afraid to write it down, because if I wrote it down, then it would be in print, and if it was in print, then it was true, and some of it I didn't want to know. So I've given it up, and I've gone back to writing poetry, and so I hope you like the few selections that I've chosen for tonight. All right, so this one I thought would be timely to start us out, because it is called The Clock. And so, if anyone has a battle with running late, it is Gwendolyn Blicky. I will confess that. Blame it on my ADD, HD, OCD, whatever you want. But yeah, it's there. So this one is called The Clock. You tell me when to get up, and you scream at me when I don't. You tell me when to work, and then stop me when it's time to go to bed. Your numbers are only 12, and yet you order me around like a grown-up. You run so fast, I don't pay attention. And sometimes you move so slowly when I tire of my task. You wear me out, and your deeds are displayed in the lines on my face. Digital watch or clock on the wall, grandfather clock standing proud and tall. Sometimes I think you are the biggest jerk of all. Alright, so we have, I got some snaps back there. Alright, so we'll take slammers one at a time, and we're going to listen to a slammer, and then I think we're going to do an exercise after that, because even though all of you didn't bring poetry, we're going to have some fun with poetry tonight. So, our first slammer tonight is William Burnout.
Okay, mics are fun. I didn't know about the 3-minute time limit, so my poem's going to go a bit over that.
Oh, that's okay, that's okay. That was just a guideline.
Okay, cool. It's not a poem written by me. It's a poem by Edgar Allan Poe called Tamerlane. It's about a Turkish conqueror during the 14th century. We don't know too much about him. He was a ruler of a place called Samarkand, which It's kind of like Iraq, Iran right now. And it's about how he gave up on love at a young age and instead chose to go for power. Find solace in the dying hour, such, Father, is not now my theme. I will not madly deem that power of earth may shrive me of the sin unearthly pride have reveled in. I have no time to dote or dream. You call it hope, that fire of fire, it is but agony of desire. If I can hope, oh God, I can. Its fountain is holier, more divine. I would not call thee fool, old man, but such is not a gift divine. No, vow the secret of a spirit, bowed from its wild pride into shame. O yearning heart, I did inherit thy quivering portion with the fame. The Syrian glory which have shone amid the jewels of my throne. Halo of hell, and with the pain, not hell shall make me fair again. O craving heart for the lost flowers, and sunshine of my summer hours. The undying voice of that dead time, with its interminable chime, rings in the spirit of a spell upon my emptiness a knell. I have not always been as now, the fevered diadem on my brow. I claimed and won usurpingly. Have not the same fierce heirdom given Rome to the Caesar, this to me? The heritage of a kingly mind and proud spirit which have striven triumphantly with humankind. On mountain soil I first drew life, the mist of the Taglay have shed nightly verdures upon my head, and I believe the winged strife and tumult of the headlong air have nestled in my very hair. So late from heaven that dew it fell, mid dreams of an unholy night, upon me with the touch of hell, while the red flashing of the light from clouds that hung like banners over appeared to my half-closing eye, the pageantry of monarchy, and the deep trumpet thunder's roar came hurriedly upon me, telling of human battle where my voice, my own voice, silly child, was swelling. Oh, how my spirit would leap within me at the creed, the battle cry of victory. The rain came down upon on mountain soil I first drew life. The rain came down upon my head, unsheltered in the heaven rind, rendered me mad and deaf and blind. It was but man I thought would shed laurels upon me and a rush. The torrent of the chilly air gurgled within my ear, the crush of empires with a captive's prayer. The hum of suitor and the tone of flattery round a sovereign's throne. My passions from that hapless hour usurped a tyranny which men have deemed since I reached to power. My innate nature, be it so. The father of a lived one who then in my boyhood when their fire burned with a still intenser glow. For passion must with youth expire, even none who knew this iron heart and woman's weakness had a part. I have no words, alas, to tell the loveliness of loving well, nor would I now attempt to trace the morbid beauty of a face whose lineaments upon my mind are shadows on the unstable wind. Thus I remember having dwelt some page of early lore upon with loitering eye till I have felt the letters with their meanings melt to fantasies with none. Oh, she was worthy of all love, love as in infancy was mine. 'Twas such as angel minds above might envy her young heart, the shrine on which my every hope and thought were incense then, a goodly gift, for they were childish and upright, pure, as her young example taught. Why did I leave it and adrift, trust to the fire within for light? We grew in age and love together, roaming the forest and the wild. My breast her shield in wintry weather, and when the friendly sunshine smiled, and when she marked the opening skies, I saw no heaven but in her eyes. Yet more than worthy of the love my spirit struggled with and strove, when, on the mountain peak alone, ambition lent it a new tone. I had no being but in thee, the world and all it did contain, the earth, the air, the sea, its joy, its little lot of pain. This was new pleasure, the ideal, dim vanities of dreams by night, and dimmer nothings which were real, shadows in a more shadowy light, parted upon their misty wings, and so confusedly became thine image, and a name, two separate yet most intimate things. I was ambitious, have you known? The passion, Father, you have not. A cottager, I marked a throne, of half the world as all my own, and murmured at such lowly lot. But just like any other dream, upon the vapor of the dews, my own had passed. Did not the beam of beauty which did while it through, the minute, the hour, the day, did oppress my mind with double loveliness. We walked together on the crown of a high mountain which looked down, afar from its proud natural towers of rock and forest on the hills, the dwindled hills begirt with bowers, and shouting with 1,000 rills. I spoke to her of power and pride, but mystically in such guise that she might deem it not beside that moment's converse in her eyes. I read perhaps too carelessly, a feeling mingled with my own. The flush of her bright cheek to me seemed to become a queenly throne, too well that I should let it be light in the wilderness alone. I wrapped myself in grandeur then and donned a visionary crown. Yet it was not that fantasy had thrown her mantle over me, but that among the rabble, men, lying ambition is chained down and crouches to a keeper's hand. Not so in deserts, where the grand, the wild, the terrible conspire with her own breath to fan his fire. Look round thee now on Samarkand, is she not queen of earth? Her pride above all cities in her hand, her destinies and all beside, of glory which the world have known, stands she not nobly and alone? Falling her veriest stepping stone, shall form the pedestal of a throne. And who her sovereign? Timur, he whom the astonished people saw, striding over empires haughtily, a diadem outlaw. O human love, thou spirit given on earth of all we hope in heaven, which fallest into the soul like rain upon the Siroc-quivered plain, and failing in thy power to bless, but leavest the heart a wilderness. Idea which findest life around, with music of so strange a sound, and beauty of so wild a birth, farewell, for I have won the earth. When hope the eagle that towered could see no cliff beyond him in the sky, his pinions were bent droopingly, and homeward he turned his softened eye. 'Twas sunset when the sun will part, there comes a sullenness of heart to him who would still look upon the glory of the evening sun. That soul will hate the evening mist, so often lovely, and will list to the sound of the coming darkness, known to those whose spirits hearken as one who, in a dream of night would fly, but cannot from a danger nigh. What though the moon, the white moon, shed all the splendor of her noon? Her smile is chilly, and her beam in that time of dreariness will seem so like you gather in your breath a portrait taken after death. And boyhood is the summer sun, whose leaving is the dreariest one. For all we live to know is no, and all we seek to keep have flown. Let life then as the day flower fall, with the noonday beauty which is all. I reached my home no more, for all had flown that made it so. I passed from out its mossy door, and though my tread was soft and low, a voice came from the threshold stone, of one whom I had earlier known. Oh, I defy thee, hell, to show on beds of fire that burn below a humbler heart, a deeper woe. Father, I firmly do believe I know for death who comes for me from regions of the blessed afar, have left his iron gate ajar, and rays of truth you cannot see are flashing through eternity. I do believe that Eblis hath a snare in every human path. Else how, when in the holy grove I wandered of the spirit lobe, who daily scents his snowy wings with incense of burnt offerings from the most unpolluted things, whose pleasant bowers are yet so riven above with trellis rays from heaven. No mote may shun, no tiniest fly, the lightning of his eagle eye. How was it that ambition crept, unseen mid the revels there, till growing bold he laughed and leapt in the tangles of love's very hair? Thank you.
The days when like email was like actual people. That was probably just
All right, good job, Billy. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to be hearing a poem from Hannah Balicki here in a little bit. But I have, I'm a teacher, so you know how that is. quizzes, I give assignments. So I have a little activity for us to play here, and this is called Grand Theft Poetry. All right, on these pieces of paper, I have a list of poems. They are not complete poetry. They are the last lines of some famous poetry, except for the very last one by Langston Hughes, which happens to be the first line of the poem. But I'm going to pass these around. I've got a couple of them for each table. And what you're going to do is you're going to look at them and possibly write your own poem. It doesn't have to be long. It can be 2 or 3 lines. But I want you to take a look at the lines on the poem. You want to pass these out? All right, let's put one of these on each table. There. You guys want one? I'll give you this extra one when I move down. Oh no, I gotta give one to you. All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna look at the poetry that's on there. Now, you are going to, you have all freedom to steal from these authors tonight. All right, what I want you to do is you can use all of a piece of a poem. You can use the title of a poem. So the first one is a famous one by Robert Frost. We're really getting some feedback here. 2 roads diverged in a wood and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Let's say you want to use that, but you don't need the whole thing. Maybe you just use the phrase, all the difference. What's made all the difference in your life? Maybe make a list. A great way to write poetry is to make a list. The second one is A Dream by Edgar Allan Poe, the poem we just heard from Billy. A dream within a dream. If you're a big fan of The Princess Bride, they quote that on there, a dweem within a dweem. So, you could maybe write a poem about The Princess Bride, but this is your chance to use words from other famous authors to get inspiration to write a poem. And if you write one tonight, you can get up and slam it, okay? So that's what the paper and the pens are for. All right, and Hannah Balicki, when you're ready. Okay, so I wrote 2 poems, and this is the second one because the first one was just a word vomit. So I'm just going to do the introduction while she's doing that. This is, I wrote this, I'm doing a movement right now called, that's for To Write Love on Her Arms. It is a suicide, depression, anxiety, self-harm, addiction awareness. And it's a big thing going on right now. A couple of people that I know, a couple of people who are the same fans of the same thing I am are going through it, and there's an actor I know who is doing a huge movement for it. So this poem is for that movement and for those of you who are suffering of depression, anxiety, self-harm, all that stuff. Okay, this is called The Table. Sharon, is it on? Okay. It's my first time reading out loud, so work with me here. I'm hiding under the table, so safe, dark, and warm. My mind is playing tricks on me. The voice in my head has taken on a new form. You're angry, bitter, I'm useless, you say. There's nothing left for me here. I'm a waste of space. I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm unwanted. Some say it's not true. Some say let it go. But that's all that I see and that's all that I know. So I write on my arm the word love with a knife, because it's something I haven't experienced in life. I'm under the table where it's safe and dark and warm. Then a hand reaches down and pulls me up, out of the darkness and into the dawn. They say I was worth it. They say I'm important, and they say it was okay. I was needed and wanted, beautiful and welcomed. They rolled on my arm with a pen to let me know I won't need the knife ever again. Because someone helped me and showed me the light. I found out there was more than this cold, dark night. It was my turn to go and write love on your arms, to show you the light, to show the truth I've never known. Because now I know that life won't end, to never give up and never give in. And just remember to always keep fighting.
We good? I think so. Yeah, good. Oh, wait. Yeah,
All right, thank you, Hannah. All right, so I hope you're working on your Grand Theft poetry, and I have another prompt for you. If you need more cards, we've got them up here. Kim, you could just throw some on the tables in case they like make a mistake and they want to grab another clean one. So there's lots and lots of cards for you to write on. And Hannah, you just heard a poem about a young girl who changed her life. She told how she was one way, she became another way. It's almost like she was telling a story and then she was giving instructions. And this is where I was, this is where I am now, and this is where you can be. And that's a great way to write a poem, is to just make a list of instructions. So I'm going to give you some examples here. I'm going to write them down here and you can use them as prompts. So let's say you could possibly give instructions on how to have a daydream.
I have those every day.
How about instructions on how to find happiness? How about go real simple? How about instructions on how to peel a peach? And then if we can write instructions on finding happiness, how about writing instructions on how to cry? All right, so if you feel moved, you can use one of those as your writing prompt. All right, and our next speaker. Unless somebody else wants to go. You look like you're up and ready to go, but it's actually... Okay, so our next speaker is Hannah Marks. So when you're ready.
My poem is definitely less funny than everybody else's. It's a nonsense poem by Lewis Carroll. It was brilliant, and the slimy tones did gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy with borgers and moments and gleam. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird, and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his brutal sword in hand. Long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whistling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, went through and through. The fork of blade went snack, snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. Oh, frabjous day, Callooh, Calais, he chortled in his joy. It was brilliant, and the slimy toes did gyre and gimble in the waves, all mimsy with the borgos and
Good job. So is everybody working on poetry?
Yes.
Anybody have one they want to get up and volunteer to slam? I think Ambrose wrote one about an airplane. Yeah? He could write a poem on how to make an airplane. All right, so I said that you can give instructions when you're writing a poem. You can write in, poetically like that. I have a poem here that's basically a list. Sometimes lists can turn into poetry. So I wrote this one. I was inspired by a friend who was a little embarrassed by how she was dressed when I was going to take her picture, and she said, "Oh, I just dressed how I felt today." And I went home and I thought about that, and I thought, you know what, but that's how I dress every day. Isn't that how we get dressed? We get up, we think about what we have to do. If we go to work, we wear one thing. If we go to church, we wear another. If we're going to hang out with friends, we wear something else. But we still dress how we feel. Maybe I don't feel like dressing up so much to church, so I'll just dress down a little bit more. I gotta go to work, but I don't really want to wear everything that I'm supposed to. I'll just take off this one piece of that uniform. Maybe it'll be okay. I dress how I feel. So that's what this one is titled. I dress how I feel. Black is professional, theatrical, depressed. Red is seasonal, traditional, and cheerful. Purple is irrepressible, incorrigible, and passionate. Gray is nostalgic, intellectual, encouraged. Blue is beautiful, expressive, and empathetic. Brown is comfortable, unnoticeable, but sensitive. Pink is youthful, noticeable, and cherished. I feel how I dress. Wool is warm and silk is sensuous. Cotton is comfortable, and fleece is energized, and denim is indestructible. I dress how I feel, and I feel how I dress. I have no care if you are impressed. Fashion is fleeting, and clothing wears out. You want to know me? Don't judge me about what you see. Chances are you really won't know me.
That was your mom that inspired this poem. She's apologizing for what she was wearing when I took her picture for a single. She goes, "Don't take my picture today." And she always looks good. She should say that.
Yes. Not 4 of us, but you know.
Hey Josh, are you slamming? Are you slamming? No? I keep pulling the microphone like it should be here. And it's right there. All right, everybody get these props because these are going bye-bye.
I got a long report.
All right, so I just gave a list of colors and talked about how I felt about them and stuff like that. But great poetry has a sense of rhythm, it has a sense of meter, it has a sense of connectivity. So, like Shakespeare was very famous for alliteration, for sonnets having similar vowel sounds, similar consonant sounds. So I'm going to give you some words. I'm going to give them to you groups of 3. And you can choose to use them in a poem, or you could use them to come up with maybe a series of words that rhyme or sound alike. So we're going to start with these. This is a combination of the word exquisite, visit, and glisten. All right, I'm gonna give you another one. The next three words are dim, hinge, and dingy.
Dingy, baby. Wake
All right, the last one.
Not bad.
I'm trying to figure out where to give you a tough one or a fun or an easy one. Okay, this one will be fun. Okay. This one is expensive, lampshade, and bruise.
Lampshade.
All right, and our next slammer is Rhiannon Craddock. Whenever you're ready.
That's my stick girl.
You gotta stick with that.
That's my
Okay.
Yeah, you gave him for a second.
Yes, I am. Okay, this is not mine. I'm reading it for someone else. So
Who's the author?
Sharon is the author. She just didn't want to read it. I love you. Okay, this is called If I Should Die Before I Wake. If I should die before I wake, let the world know what I held at stake. Let them know my troubled mind could no longer bear the sands of time. With the constant ticks and chimes, my mind can't stand the gears and grinds. Oh, I long for the quiet peace, but with peace often comes an aging crease. I just want to be young and restless, but if I should die before I wake, my cold corpse this world was mine to never take. Was never mine to take.
All right, it's been a while, so somebody's got to have a poem in front of them they want to slam. Anyone? Come on. Sure, sure. Anyone? Bueller? Anyone?
I have another one that I'm supposed to
They don't know.
Okay. I forgot.
Because we are. But I know Bueller.
Okay, another one I'm supposed to read because apparently I'm the person that everyone turns to read the poetry. Okay, this is called Dreaming by Jonathan Arthur. Wishing for something that you long for, something that you're needing, something that you are not seeing. It brings up connotations of hoping, but you can only hope without knowing. The rare, unbearable pain that is unshakable and ongoing. But then you find yourself tiptoeing away from life and society is unknowing. Of this unbelievable amount of suffering, this life that you live is peeling until you're bleeding, making you choke until you feel like you're not breathing. But ripping and tearing and eating you up from the inside. All you can do now is try to fly, climb to the roof, and try to touch the sky. With clenched fists, squeezing with all of your might, you smile and close your tear-filled eyes. You take your first sigh of relief in such a long while, and your only moments of peace in the last seconds of your life. But now I know what you're thinking. That's what you get for dreaming.
Except you. I love you.
Volunteers? Volunteers? Somebody did something with expensive lampshade brews?
It's fun.
I got a few words rolling around on my head for the last one. Once you start putting words on paper and adding parts of speech, pronouns, adjectives, different things, nouns, directions, punctuation, it starts to come together. Somebody, there was like, was there a question when we had the word dingy? Like that wasn't known? Anybody remember that show Dirty Jobs?
Yes.
My husband has one of those. We've watched that show, and he says things like, "They haven't seen nothing. That's not a dirty job. They need to come to my job." So I say all that just to be in praise of my husband, because he has a dirty job and he does it well. And he takes really good care of his family. So I could probably write a nice poem about dim, hinge, dingy. Anybody?
I can record that.
Come on, any volunteers? Bring up what you're working on, Hannah? All right.
I was looking at the, I think it's the Poe reference, is all that we see or see but a dream within a dream. And it reminded me of a person I knew who had nightmares about, consistently about their love, the person they loved being taken away from them. So this is kind of based on that idea. Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? My dear, I wake with trembling heart, shaking, wondering, breathing hard. I dreamt that life with you was gone, from the starlight into dawn. I wonder, truth is here somewhere. I grasp for life and gasp for air. I hear a bell, it pierces, clear. Just now a heavenly sound to hear. I tap, I read, my heartbeat slows. I see your name, the truth I know. You're there, you're safe, you're here for me. The mist is all that's left of my dream.
That was pretty awesome. All right, who's got another one? All right, John's gonna give us another one. So whenever you're ready. Everybody else still working? Yes. Do you need to see that other list that we had?
No.
I didn't even deny it though.
The Empress.
Smile.
Good job.
Oh, go Heidi!
Why, I don't miss this.
That's funny.
I just came to visit today to see all my awesome friends that have just made a part of who I am. Just everything that I grew up with, just all the more special. This is a poem I just wrote from the inspiration of just listening to each and every one of you. So here it is. In castles made of broken dreams, that's where I'll forever stay. Sweet love dead, fallen cold, my heart you'll never sway. Dreams deferred, nevermore, will you take my breath tonight. I'll fight the night into the day, better be the shroud of sight. One more night, one more time, says the sweet caress of the moon. But at your stone I still mourn, your chiseled name on your tomb. So strong you thump, my heart torn, at the memory of your eyes. But in that moment, your message returns. Get up, I rise.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else? Samantha, you got a poem? All right, Hannah's got one.
So nice. Okay, so I stole, well, hi Rockefeller. I stole from the Still I Rise by Angel, I don't know, is it Mike Angelo? That. So I took the whole piece and I added a beginning line and like a second half line. So, okay, here we go. Here I am again, bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, arise. But in the end, it means nothing. The higher you go, the further to fall. But I rise. I know I'm going to fall, but it's not going to stop me.
This is by, I took the line Into My Garden Come from Emily Dickinson, made it a little bit darker. Into my garden come, dark shadow of dreams. Take my life for fun, let's bathe in all their screams.
Oh my goodness, wow.
The only positive is he's at daffodils. That's the only, like, the daffodils.
All right, we can still got lots of time for slammers. I know I got one more, but we had one more on our list, and we need to hear from John Hoffman. Woo!
Used to be that I know. This is not the way to finish. Okay. Hate microphones. I did not sign this, so I apologize ahead of time. Okay. And this poem is entitled Nifty Toffee. And it needs no explanation. I sat upon a park bench oddly, as I chewed a bit of toffee. I sat there strangely due to this. I was hunched over crying, biting my wrist. You see, I was in great pain that day. I'd just been stabbed by a gypsy. Oh, now I have your attention, I see. Listen to my story obsequiously. What I have to say is no joke. I lived through this mess. It caused me a great deal of hazard and stress. So this is what happened the day of the fray, the night that I went down Dixie Lake. I was there on some business. I wasn't messing around. I had to see a man about a new toffee compound. I was in the toffee business and I was well-to-do, but I needed his help for my latest breakthrough. We were gonna mix toffee with peanuts and whey. It was gonna be the greatest thing since whiskey. But that was not to be, as I soon found out, when he sampled me some toffee that contained alfalfa sprout. I sensed something fishy, as I always can when I do a business deal out the back of a sedan. So I got out of there just as fast as I could get away. I was cutting through an empty park when I spotted him. The gypsy. That is to say, he spotted me. He could see I was an out-of-towner, and that was what led to our curious encounter. He awaited me behind a tree and jumped out to look scary. But I was not fazed by his ungainly looks. I was not caught unwary. I did not fear this ridiculous man. I did not run away. What could I fear from this Tennessean plebeian? He looked over 60. He demanded from me some money to get a cup of coffee, but all I had on me was my sample of alfalfa toffee. I offered it to him because I didn't want no trouble, but then he grabbed something inside his garb, and I didn't move a muscle. And sure enough, he bared his blade, but I would not become prey. I grabbed his wrist and struggled with this disenchanted gypsy. When I pushed, he pulled. When I pulled, he pushed. We bruised and buffed and tusked and cursed and cuffed. Then finally, our struggle ended. He shanked me with his blade extended. I did not feel the pain at first. The night looked bright as day. My legs crumbled beneath me, and I fell before the gypsy. The vagrant ran away, and I knew I needed refuge. I clawed my way to a bench, and then I ceased to think of rescue. I knew my fatal time had come as I slouched there in my agony. I sat and cried in vicious pain because of this fateful calumny. But I remembered my alfalfa toffee, so I ate it, because what the hey. And what do you know, it was actually good. And my last thought was, it's nifty.
It only makes sense to me. Yeah, it wouldn't make sense. Right.
Awesome. All right, do we have more volunteers? Any more readers? Share what you've been writing? All right, Hannah. Front hopper, because we have 3 of them here.
Go Hannah!
Encouragement.
This is a poem that I kind of learned off of a video from Facebook. It's by Serena Bonham. I think so you say the last name. And it kind of goes along with what Hannah read earlier with like the depression and suicidal awareness kind of thing. So I thought maybe I'll do it. Explaining my depression to my mother, a conversation. Mom, my depression is a shapeshifter. One day it is as small as a firefly in the palm of a bear, the next it's the bear. On those days I play dead until the bear leaves me alone. I call the bad days the dark days. Mom says try lighting candles. When I see a candle, I see the flesh of a church, the flicker of a flame, sparks of a memory from younger than noon. I stand next to her open casket. It is the moment I learn that every person I ever come to know will someday die. Besides, Mom, I'm not afraid of the dark. Perhaps that's part of the problem. Mom says I thought the problem was that you can't get out of bed. I can't. Anxiety holds me a hostage inside of my house, inside of my head. Sorry. Mom says, where did anxiety come from? Anxiety is the cousin visiting from out of town. Depression felt obligated to bring to the party. Mom, I am the party. Only I am a party I don't want to be at. Mom says, why don't you try going to actual parties? See your friends. Sure, I make plans, but I don't want to go. I make plans because I know I should want to go. I know that sometimes I would want to go. It's just not that much fun having fun when you don't want to have fun, Mom. You see, each night, insomnia sweeps me up in its arms, leaves me in the cast of the glow of the small stove. Insomnia has this weird way of making the moon seem like romantic company. Mom says try counting sheep. My mind can only think of reasons to stay awake, so I go for walks. Only my clattering kneecaps click together like silver spoons held in strong arms with loose wrists. Ringing like clumsy church bells inside of my head, reminding me I am sleepwalking on an ocean of happiness I cannot baptize myself in. Mom says happiness is a decision, but my happy is as hollow as a pinpricked egg. My happy is a high fever that won't break. Mom says I can make something out of nothing and then flat out asks me if I'm afraid of dying. No, I am afraid of living. Mom, when I tell you I've been super busy. Sorry, hold this up. I think I learned when Dad left how to turn the anger into lonely, the lonely into busy. So when I tell you I've been super busy, I mean I've been sleeping on the couch, avoiding confronting the empty side of my bed. But my depression always drags me back to my bed, leaving my bones as an empty fossil. My bones, the forgotten fossils, like a skeleton sunken city. My mouth, a boneyard of teeth broken from biting down on themselves. My chest swoons with echoes of a heartbeat. But I am a careless tourist here. I never know truly where I have been. Mom still doesn't understand. Mom, can't you see that neither can I?
That was really awesome. So I'm going to read a poem then, because I think it kind of piggybacks on that poem that both Hannah read, Hannah Balicki and Hannah Grundhofer. I've had my own battle with depression and anxiety, and this one I wrote out of some frustrations I had with a recent workplace situation. And so this one is called My Backpack. To be ready for work, I ready my backpack. Wallet, keys, phone, chapstick, sunglasses, notebook, breath mints, and tissues. To be ready for anything, I add more belongings. Confidence, courage, contentment, assurance, gratitude, thankfulness, faithfulness, discernment, and kindness. To be sure nothing's forgotten, I double check the bundle. Adaptability and patience, tolerance, attentiveness, compassion, forgiveness, appreciation, and respect. To my surprise, I wonder how these got in my baggage. Fear and suspicion, despair and anxiety, distress and concern, timidity, anxiety, and doubt. To have my best day, I'm going to leave that melancholy out. What's that? I left something behind? Remember commitment and your well-planned designs, righteous ambitions and blameless objectives. To be sure it is heavy, and for work I am ready to start. My backpack is not on me, it's now in my heart. All right, slammers, we have more time. Anybody? All right, Rhiannon.
This technically isn't a poem, but it's a song that I really, really like, so I'm going to recite the lyrics. And it kind of has to do with what Hannah and Mrs. Balicki were talking about. So, I went through a kind of really depressing time a year or two ago. And I don't know, this song is, I don't know, I love it. I've always loved this song. It's called I Know Where I've Been. There's a cry in the distance. There's a voice that comes from deep within. There's a cry asking why. I've heard the answers up ahead, because I know where I've been. There's a road we've been traveling, lost so many on the way. But the riches, there'll be plenty. Plenty worth the price that we had to pay.
There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle that we have yet to win. And there's pride in my heart because I know where I'm going and I know where I've been. There's a road that we have to travel. There's a promise that we have to make. But the riches will be plenty, worth the risks and the chances that we take. There's a dream in the future. There's a struggle that we have yet to win. Use that pride in your heart to lift you up until tomorrow. Because just sitting still would be a sin. I know where I'm going. Lord knows I know where I've been. And that when I win, I'll give my thanks to God because I know where I've been.
Start snapping, everyone.
So this is a poem that I've written, and it's a short poem, so. In the darkest of night, a devil appears. He boasts in my sight and brings about all my fears. I freeze, and I'm taken captive. Death suddenly seems so attractive. He climbs into me, goes to where none can see. But he does not go far. The devil claims only my tongue, for it is from there all my life can be undone.
Go, Hannah.
What?
You want me to be a few minutes?
No,
Just
you're
say
good.
go.
What?
Go.
What? Oh, sorry. Anyway, so I said I wrote 2 poems. This one is my word vomit one. I was having a really bad day. Bouncing off of the thing I was talking about earlier. I like to help people. I like to tell people, come to me with your problems. Let me know what's going on. And during this certain time, we all came at me at one time. And this is my word vomits, my bad day vomit. So here we go. I'm drowning in your sorrow, weighed down from your burden. My voice is loud, but it's being silenced. My opinion cut off with your pain. But it's okay, I'm fine. I'm just tired. So pour me another cup of coffee. I can't breathe, I can't sleep, I can't see, I can't speak. But it's okay, I'm fine, I'm just tired. So pour me another cup of coffee. But you don't want to know, no, you don't want to hear it. I should be happy, you say. I need to smile, you sigh. I need to laugh, you know. I need to be what you need. I need to be there to lean on, to rant to hear, but I can't complain. No, I can't come crashing down. Because truth be told, if I fell down, you would too. Because what good is a bum leg without a crutch? But it's okay, I'm fine, I'm just tired. So pour me another cup of coffee. I can't breathe, I can't sleep, can't see, I can't speak. But it's okay, I'm fine, I'm just tired. I'm always okay. Go ahead, give me more to do. Just get me some more coffee.
We can do that.
Come to the right place.
I just read out this piece of paper. Bueller.
This is a poem I wrote called Honestly. Excuse me, it's a bit romantic. So I don't want to exaggerate. I'm not gonna lie. I won't tell you what I don't feel just to make you smile. I hope the truth doesn't hurt too much. I'm gonna tell you anyway. I'll give it to you straight, so listen up. Here's what I've got to say. Honestly, you're my knight in shining armor. Truth be told, I want to be your maiden fair. Prince Charming's got nothing on you. You're my castle in the air. When you ride up on your silver steed, I couldn't have asked for more. Honestly, in all the best ways, you're more than I bargained for. We're grown-ups now. Let's act like it. No more fairy tales. Leave fantasies and fables to the books and old wives' rabbit trails, where animals talk and fairies drink from the never-was fountain of youth. I'm just trying to keep it real, so I'm telling you the honest truth. Honestly, you're my knight in shining armor. Truth be told, I want to be your maiden fair. Prince Charming's got nothing on you. You're my castle in the air. When you ride up on your silver steed, I couldn't have asked for more. Honestly, in all the best ways, you're more than I bargained for.
I ship it. I ship it. I don't see it. I still don't see it. I ship it. I have
I know you did, you told me.
Can't go that fast.
I have a job as mom. I work every couple of weeks. So it pays like 100 a month, but that's not much. Yeah. I need an actual job. I applied for a summer job at camp, and I'm probably going to hard to hire ID and making homework.
All right, so you guys know you guys are working on more poems, all right? So I have another prompt for you here. One form of poetry is you can use alliteration. SALA is an acronym for Southside Enrichment for Language Arts and History. NFP, yeah, it's even longer than it is. It's our legal name is pretty long. But I wrote down EDGE here. Okay, we're at the edge. You can make an acronym out of that. And as a demonstration, I quickly wrote down, just based on some of the stuff that we're hearing, some of it's been kind of sad, some of it's been fun, some of it's been romantic. But I'm impressed personally at how good this atmosphere is and how inspiring it is. And so my thoughts go heavenward. And so I wrote a poem with using an acronym, so I'm going to go ahead and give that to you now. Amazing God, amazing reality, amazing acceptance, amazing creation, amazing eternity, amazing grace. Anyone
Come on, Josh. Right now.
I can just see the poet.
It's a good start.
She's gonna cry.
Oh, okay. I'm honestly doing the best job.
We're like pulling your shit. Oh, Josh, actually.
Thank you. I tried to get up after before my family because like I have to make it best. They're hiring at the time. No, yes. It's in Highland. It's like 28 minutes. But I have to get my license. I get it right. I have a driving license.
You thought you were saving him.
But I'm not allowed to drive to work. No, not legally.
It's not ready yet.
Okay, I know. Do you have your license or your think I know what the first word is.
So it's probably the type of handwriting freaks.
Anybody have another poem? Make sure you get some coffee, tip your barista. All right, Gabby.
I wrote this a year ago after reading a series of books, and so it's kind of like sucky, but it's a little bit short, but maybe the way we carry ourselves today makes us feel the need of how we used to be. To lay against someone and breathe in their soft, subtle smell of their skin, inhaling the anesthesia of their warmth right before surgical precision of separation from each other's arms. The longing of the same painkiller as before, instead of fatal injections of carbon monoxide into our lungs, the line between life and death obscure. Bones exposed to the soiled air. Bones exposed to the soiled air, our skin held back by clamps and pins like fabric. You know you are no longer human when they look at you with eyes flooded with pity your words wavering with encouragement and sorrow, because no one cares until they try to imagine the loss of their only reason for living. They will go home knowing that their arms will be stitched to their source of analogistic care. I like to walk and I'm like, I cannot walk in what I'm wearing usually. I change the person every time I change their phone. It was like, I thank you, but I'm walking in with the bag. Nice to meet you.
That's the best thing about the necklace.
I know, like,
Jesse, you're probably welcome to take back my I was looking for an outlet.
Did anyone else notice the emphasis of that guitar?
I just love particular guitar because I really
Pikachu? Pikachu is right there.
The strings third with it?
That is awesome. Do you realize Pikachu is on it?
Yes. I'm gonna go with Fighter Yes.
I'm not but there's
That's my actually no, that, I guess my poetry is yeah, that's finally do a poem. She plugs in her truck.
This poem's called I'm Just Here for the Coffee.
You know this is Blakey and Curdy from David's son. So creepy and
Just use your booming voice, man.
How does John always get the biggest applause?
I'm sorry.
You just said something else.
So that made lots of
Alright. Wrote this poem just now. So be quiet. Alright. Don't get upset. Alright. Okay. Especially adults, don't get upset in this moment. Do as your heart leads you, but not anywhere dangerous. You should never be risky, but you should be a risk taker. You should thirst for adventure, but danger is not an option. You can never be complacent, but you should be happy where you're at. That's what
You make me think, man. What? You can't do it.
I'm gonna write the whole thing of this.
Copying you. Okay.
Do that. Take time.
So I just wrote this. It's pretty lame, but let's see how it goes. It's about books. So if you like books, you should like this poem. What? No. Okay. Existence would be but a void without the written works of Freud, and too much for me to get without the advice from Kurt Vonnegut. And speaking, I would not know how to do all this without the wisdom of Mr. Lewis. I would be so rough, so feral, without works by Lewis Carroll. I'd have to be rageful and destroy without my precious books by Tolstoy. I can survive hell with the books written by Wells, but overall life isn't so bad with the works of Lovecraft.
You wrote.
Survive hell in the works of Wells.
Yeah, Wells, H.G. Wells.
He was a magician. Yes, he actually was. That's why I gave you the print of the Lord of the Rings.
Go John Rose.
It's
was thinking my car was here.
This table's been really quiet. Really quiet.
Oh, those four.
I know you all keep giving to Rhiannon. You guys gotta get up. Get up and share something.
Samantha.
Oh, that's cool.
David! Yeah, I know!
I hope you guys know I'm making this up as I go.
Oh my god. Freestyle!
Not a ramp. Okay.
Want me to let me down?
Snap
Anyway, okay. So I personally don't like it when people talk behind my back. I also don't like it when they're hypocritical. However, talking about them right now, talking behind their back, even though you don't know who I'm talking about, isn't that being hypocritical?
I have 30 seconds. David, I tell everything I say behind your back to your face. David, I like that. No, I
We'll do that. Hey, break down for
Okay, so I'm just gonna jump the poetry slinger. I heard a lot about depression today, and a lot about all the stuff that the thingy that I was always keep fighting, but they're supporting. So if you guys want to check it out, check out the movement that I started supporting. It's represent.com/Jared, and so you can buy a shirt and it explains why he's supporting this. Or you can go straight to the site itself, twloha.com, which is Two Red Love in Her Arms, an acronym, /home, to donate directly. And the hashtags are Two Red Love in Her Arms and Always Keep Fighting if you want to check out the movement. PCA done, okay.
Wait for it. Hold on. You can see my phone. Hold on.
I got it.
Don't delete it
Hold
again.
on. I have deleted everything. Oh, hold on. Stop.
I'm recording. Yeah, I got it on camera, so.
Do we record it?
I got it.
She got it. She got you.
I got you. Oh, whoops.
Okay, so this is one that my friend Ricky actually wrote. I'm gonna be the girl and Sharon is my dude. Woo! Yeah!
That sounds like a relationship.
So sexy.
OTP.
I can't.
Did you make that?
I can't. I've been hurt before, but never again. You think I'm stupid? Like I don't know all men are the same. Low down with canine brows, telling me things I long and lust for. I won't fall for it again.
These walls are unnecessary. I'm not your advisor. I just want to show you the light. You've been denied from other guys. Look at me. I can't heal you if you don't let me. A whole new world can be shown. Just step onto my carpet. I don't mean to bring heartache. This can all
Save it. Those lines don't work on me. My heart is guarded, heavily. I let men close to me, and they all turned out to be little boys. So all that talk you're doing, it's just noise, and you know it.
I'm trying to show you I'm not them. I'm nothing like them. I'm none of them. Don't compare me to him or him. I'm my own man. I do my own things and I can take care of you.
Go away.
I've shown you I'm willing to chase because you're worth it, but if you keep pushing me away, there's only so much a man can take.
Here's your Hannah, she's giving you I think he came a long way to see that. So what happened to the call? What happened? Is it like
So she has somebody in her hair that's over her eyes. Somebody leave a light on. There you go.
so then you probably found out when you went to turn it on. That's why we didn't hear it.
Oh, sure.
So I can hear most of Now, do you need my home? I can take one.
Don't ask me to
We won't leave you on the street. She got whatever it is.
I'm off the line.
Not May. Mostly not May. Oh, someone's okay, sorry. Who? Which one? Swan? Ah. Oh, yeah. No. Oh, I thought you were. That's what I was thinking. I was like, he used to be blonde. You called that too? It was like used to be blonde.
What I'm going to be reciting now is lyrics to a song I wrote for my girlfriend for Valentine's Day. Thank you, Miss Wood. I wrote it as a poem and it kind of turned into a song, so.
Should have put that
Let's see what
Don't bring out the guitar.
I don't think so.
I
By all means. Let's see. Someday I'll make you queen of everything. I'll be your king, will ruin castles made of broken dreams and things we knew were never meant to be. And I just want you by my side, and I just need you here tonight. And you can't tell me that dreams never come true, because here you are and I'm standing next to you. One day we'll have our family made of princesses and steeds. We'll grow up big and strong and standing tall. And we'll sit back and know we gave it all. And I just want you by my side and I just need you here tonight. And in years come, we'll grow so very old, but to our kids, we're stories to be told. And in those nights of shedding tears, I'll wipe away from your brown eyes all those little fears. Don't forget the memories, they're what makes us alive. I told you from the start that I'll be with you till I die. And I just want you by my side, and I just need you here tonight. When the day comes, you'll be my lovely bride. Just don't forget who's always by your side. Is this the last hit?
Buy yourself a Ford. Yeah, I got a driver right now. I just made my car. Two vehicles.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes.
Okay, this is a poem that my brother and I wrote, as you will probably be able to tell, very, very late at night. It's also a nonsense poem, and he and I don't know, he started out because he just felt like typing something, so he just started typing random words, and then I started adding rhymes, and he started adding rhymes, and it turned into something somewhat Dr. Seuss-like, but even sillier. In a land far away, in a sea of blue blob, there lived a fish who was only a flop. I ate from the bottom, I ate from the top, but when the doorbell rang, then I had to stop. I jumped from my seat and I ran to the door. I threw the thing open and fell to the floor. There was a man standing in frightening bad taste. He was wearing a top coat cut off at the waist. His shoes were all shiny, his buttons were flat, his clothes were all wrinkly, except for his hat. I asked him a question, getting up from the floor. I asked him quite simply, "What are you here for?" "A tourist attraction," said the man in the hat. He grinned in my face and I fired right back. "Excuse me, dear sir, but I think you're confused." I told him to leave, but he simply refused. We stood and we stared and conversed for an hour when he finally told me to go take a shower. The talking got dull and my temper was hot, so I told him most rashly I'd much rather not. I heard in a poem one time I had read, "If you get in an argument, don't lose your head." So hot as I was, while my face was all red, I sewed it on firmly with needle and thread. When this precaution was taken with care, I knocked out his lights and then stomped on his hair. I greeted him soundly, I closed the door quick, then I made sure it shut with a swift kick, bang, click. I returned to my seat and promptly sat down, but the smile on my face quickly turned to a frown. The fish wasn't there. It had skipped out of town, and all that was left was some grease that was brown. "With all due respect, sir," I said to my plate, "could you tell me who's been here since last time I ate?" My plate looked at me and replied with a growl, "The fish has been wrapped up inside of a towel." That answered my question, so I let out a howl, but thinking and stroking the hairs of my jowl, I furthered inquiries to gain a new clue. I asked it again. "Ah, yes, sir, but who?" "Too witty, too sharp, and too sneaky for me. I know not the thief. Besides, I can't see." I finally found the forlorn final fact that my one prized possession had sadly been sacked. My tummy and mouth were both moaning in chorus, so I skipped the red tape and I hopped in my Taurus. Some endings to poems are goofy and fright, but this one you'll find is just perfectly right. I'll find him, I cried as I mulled o'er my plight. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.
All right, we gotta close up. Is there one more? All right, this is gonna be the last one. Woo! Encourage us! Hallelujah!
Now this was a collaborative effort between the four of us at the table centered. Anyway, so yeah, like every line was written by another person. Anyway, it's very short, and make of it what you will. Child's play, silly, nothing much. I've done this many a time as such. Give, take, you're brand new, then you break. I try my best for goodness sake, slip, fall, stand again, my feet are firm as bronze, and then You slap across my cheek just to get my fuzzy pen.
All right, good job, everyone. This has been a lot of fun. So this isn't the last slam. We will do more. Next year, we're going to be doing lots of poetry at Selah, and we might even be doing a larger slam down in the city. There's a big slam down there called Louder Than a Bomb, and it'd be really cool to take some of these positive messages into the city, wouldn't it? So let's think about it. All right, so I want to get a picture of all you guys, but then we need to clean up and get out of here so these guys can go home because they have been awesome. Thank you so much. Everybody tell them thank you and tip them.
Thank you guys. It was fun. It was what do you think? Next time you guys come on.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, now I think I got everybody. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Awesome. Thank you guys. Everybody did such a good job. David, where's David? Right here. I guess I could have. Okay, awesome. Everybody stay right there.
I wasn't
All right.
No, I wasn't looking. This is Licky. I wasn't looking.
All right, everybody. We don't have there's no winners, there's no losers. Everybody did a great job. I bought these a while ago, and I just want everybody to take one. I think there's enough for everybody. So take one, pass it on everybody that slammed, and even if you didn't slam, take one inspiration, and we'll see you at the next slam. See you at the slam. What is it? Hashtag what? What is it? What is it? They're like little inspirational postcards. So you can put them in your wallet. There's a lot of talk tonight about emotion and depression, and I think all of these have sayings on them that are inspirational and will, you know, if you're feeling down, take it out, look at it, remember that somebody at Selah loves you, and everybody here we all love each other, and you probably have people home or people in your life, just remember there's always someone there that loves you, and God in heaven loves you, so, yeah. Okay, that's it. Do you want to see them? You're like, let's make sure we get everything cleaned up.
I'm in front of Chuck's. Why? Deleted too.
Oh man,
You
you're
don't
one
keep-
over this year.
Here we go, don't get wrong. It's deleted too.
Oh man, the gypsy one. I need to have a poll about the gypsy. I just picked a random Now, what?
It is from a song. It's somewhere in there.
I guess.